Hey folks, so I've just finished making my row-like squash video. Please check it out on this channel. However, I wanted to add a little bit at the end and I kind of didn't. So I'm gonna do it as a standalone video, and it's about your shoulders, okay? It's about getting extra length with your shoulders rather than your back. I see lots of people who will come into the front of the machine and they will just roll into the front, okay? So they'll either roll their back or they'll hyper compress. They'll get those shins way past vertical and they'll kind of really get into the front to try and get more length from the front of the machine. Now, length is a kind of a little bit of a, you're certainly best to get your length from the front of the machine than you are from finishing up and high in a reach like this, because that completely compromises your recovery position, okay? You want, if you're finishing and you're up here, you don't get the bounce forwards of your arms, okay? Because you can't, because you're up like this. You're also really overusing your stomach muscles because you're in this ridiculous backwards position. And then to get back, you've got to use all this energy to get in this position. Whereas if you finish with your arms sternum height, elbows to your sides, there's a natural springiness. I do this and you'll feel your arms just want to go back forwards again. Natural springiness that wants to send your arms back forwards for you to then tilt over your hips and recover. So you come back, arms forwards, tilt, recover. Whereas when you finish at the back, you've got to heave yourself back up again. Listen, I'm not saying that people aren't fast who finish with the handle up in their throat and whatever, but it's quite inefficient in terms of if your body isn't particularly okay to do that. If you don't have the superpowers of these guys that have got muscles on top of their muscles, you could A, get injured, or B, at best, it's a really inefficient way to row. So if you just can finish sternum height, yeah, I got distracted. So anyway, so length from the front. You'll find some people really dip down in the front, they'll almost undercompress and dip down, or they'll overcompress and really kind of, they'll end up, yeah, you can see what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to show you this by putting my feet on the ground. So, you've got your handle out in front of you, back straight, okay? And then you just rock over your hips, okay? And you think, okay, I've got my 1 o'clock position, my arms are straight. Here we go, I can't really get any more length from here. But if you extend from your shoulders, see the difference there, the extra length I got. So to go from just arms straight to the extension of the shoulders. Arm straight, extension of the shoulders. Can't quite see from here what distance I've got, but so here you go. And then plus if you go from like a grip, see if I'm gripped like this, and then you let the handle come out. See, I get an extra inch that way, just by hooking my fingers over the handle. So that's an extra inch of length anyway. And then by extending my shoulders, I get another few. So gripped and shoulders back, but then extend, hooking over the handle. I've got a good, I don't know, what's that, 3-4 inches of length. And that length then, because you're not grabbing with your shoulders, okay, because they're not like tucked back and grabby, and like you start to really bend your force and you're killing the handle at that point. That kind of prevents the flow of power up through your posterior chain into your, through your arms into the handle. So when you're really tense and you grab from the front, everything's rippling, you're a golden god, you're choking the handle. You're fighting the power coming from your legs, okay? You're not really letting the power flow through. And you're also exhausting your biceps and your forearm. Whereas, if you can hang off your shoulders, as I call it, so shoulders come forwards, little extra hang, and you're not dipping in the front. But look, I'm touching the throat of the machine, the little bit where the chain goes through. And I'm not over leaning into the front, I'm not over compressing, I'm just extending my shoulders. Excuse me. There's an element, of course, that if you hyperextend, you know, like Action Man or G.I. Joe, if you pull out their shoulders, they've got a little piece of elastic that keeps their shoulders in the toy. That's kind of what your ligaments and stuff are. If you really hyperextend your shoulders and like overextend them, it can lead to injury if you do that too much, too soon, too hard, too fast. So let yourself build up through this on a lower drag factor, if this is what I'm saying. But like I say, the difference between shoulders just like your sides and whatever, and then kind of going, I'm going to extend my shoulders. That pop there. So you can see it just from me doing this. Now you don't want, you're not doing this. It's not shoulders up on your ears. Okay, so you're not, I mean, this is very relaxing. Actually backwards as well. Oh, I feel like I'm going into a high-powered business meeting. But no, just so arms straight, and then you just let them come forward. So you just send them forwards. And that little difference here between shoulders just kind of set in their sockets and then just letting them extend, just lets all the ligaments, muscles, everything suddenly becomes a link that comes up and nothing's particularly getting in the way. Then all you have to do is make sure you don't, like I say, you don't come into the front and suddenly bend. So you're nice and straight as you drive with the legs, then you only pull in at the finish. And like I say, my recommendation is, in fact, I'll quickly do it, just because we're talking about arms, I might as well finish this one off. So you'll find, here's the options, okay? Here's the options of how some people finish. They come in, they pull, and they finish up top, okay? Elbows are out to the sides. Or you'll get the people that come in, they finish at sternum height, but they'll flare the arms out like chicken wings either side, okay? Now that's instantly putting force right down the side of my arm, and I can actually feel that my lats, the big back muscles, when I do that, I can feel that my lats are completely loose, okay? They're not engaged in the slightest. So everything's coming from my delts and down my shoulder when I go chicken wings, okay? However, if you get the elbows through the sides, okay, so through the sides, like that, I can feel that my lats are now, like, they're extended, whatever you want to call it, they're activated. There we go, that's the phrase. They're activated. It's all about a nice powerful finish. I can feel that my pecs are nice and they've come into action as well, and they're going to help that springiness that sends my arms back forwards again, okay? So you come in, they spring forwards again. Seriously, sit on the couch and just do this. You'll feel, it's not much, it's only a couple of inches, but you'll feel that your arms, if you keep them at a lower height, elbows to your sides, your arms want to come forwards again. What's that about? Again, about 6 inches. And that momentum of your hands wanting to come forwards again is all you need to continue that, to get the handle forwards, to then get it. This was so not meant to be this long a video. To get it forwards past your knees. So you finish, hands come away, they trigger your back, so that the point when your hands are over your knees, your back is already in that forward tilt, okay? And then you just have to bend your knees and you slide to the front of the machine. What you don't want to do is do this. So so your hands are past your knees, you bend your knees, and then you tilt over your hips. That's not quite the point. You want to use that momentum to get you over your hips, so you're then ready to bend your knees and come into the front, okay? So finishing with your elbows with a slight flare if you wish. I'm not talking, I mean, again, we're not, what would this be? Tyrannosaurus Rex. We're not Tyrannosaurus Rex, okay? So you're not coming in and going, sorry. Listen, at least I could entertain myself, okay? So yes, you're not a Tyrannosaurus Rex. I see a t-shirt coming in my future. You're not a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but you're also not a chicken, okay? You're somewhere in between, okay? You're a Tyrannosaurus chicken. You're going, it's right about now, I should really just stop and start again, but I'm not gonna. So yeah, and then elbows to the sides, they cause the springiness, your lats are engaged, your pecs are engaged, you can feel your ribcage and everything's all activated to send your arms forward, ready for you to get back into that position again. And then as you extend those arms, that's when, so you're not really coming forwards and then extending your shoulders, you push. And then as you finish with your arms straight, you think about your shoulders being out of your ears, please. And then, yeah, and extended. And you can, if you want, you can have a little outward rotation of your elbows. This is all I'm talking about, that much, just like that. There's a reference. A little outward rotation of your shoulders, elbows. And they will help to lock in your lats and keep those shoulders down. Okay, so it's like turning your shoulders off, but then extend. I know, it's complicated. Rowing is complicated. But like I say, instead of lunging into the front to try and get extra lean, or instead of over-compressing, you find that you can just get an extra couple of inches just by extending your shoulders. Listen, this should have been a 20-second video of me just doing this and going, hey folks, do this. But it's not, because I talk a lot, all right? This has gone on way too long. Hopefully you at least enjoyed my Tyrannosaurus Rex. Look after yourselves, yeah, and please, if you enjoyed it, if the sound of my voice hasn't irritated you, then you might enjoy the sound of me talking to you through some RowAlong workouts. I have loads of them up on this channel. I row the workout, I talk to you about technique and various things like my love of deadmau5 and Van Halen and drumming and pizza and what I'm having for dinner and that night and stuff, just to keep you company, okay? So if you kind of think, you know what, actually he's not totally irritating, then I row along a workout with you. I do not take my top off. I know some people might be devastated by that piece of information. But yeah, so check out some of my row along workouts. Like I said, I just made one that was row like squash, which is like emulating what it's like to play a squash match. Yeah, and maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe you enjoyed none of this and you just want to leave a comment saying, would you please shut up? In which case, nah, I'm going to continue. So thank you so much for watching this one. Thank you for putting up with me if you've been a long time viewer. This is what I'm like. Yeah, sorry. Look after yourselves, stay safe, be well, bye-bye.